Alright, this problem is problem 36 on page 670 in your Applying AutoCAD book. When you look at this drawing, it's drawn in the right side view, the right side plane. So we're going to go here and pick in the top corner, we're going to pick the right side plane. And I know you all know how to draw this, but I'm just going to step you through the way I do this so we kind of have all of our lines in the same place and all that. I would start with center line there, and a center line there for that. Starting with that first hole over there on the left-hand side. From there, I would offset to get my center of my next lines, which are 1 inch over, and it actually just happens to be 1 inch up and 1 inch down. So from there, I put my circles into place. Be careful not to get to that midpoint, we get to that intersection there. Intersection there, and there's a diameter of 0.5 circle there. Another diameter of 0.5 there, and there. And then it's another circle with a diameter of 0.3 there, 0.3 there, and 0.3 there. So there are circles. We're done with those layout lines now, so I'm just going to erase them out. And I'm going to go ahead and put a line in tangent to this side and tangent to there. Put that line across there. And then I'm going to draw my circle. I'm going to do a TTR circle. So it's, oops, I missed that. Circle, TTR. Tangent there with a radius of 1.5. And another circle. Again, the TTR circle. Tangent there with a radius of 1. With those can be trimmed out now because I really don't need them anymore. So I'm going to trim those two out. And now I need to start looking at my other lines on this. Well, one, I have a little webbing portion of it that comes out through here. So I'm just going to put a simple layout line there. And now we have some measurements there. It tells us this is 0.05 typical. What that's telling me is all those that look like that are 0.05. So it's 0.05 here, here, and here. And then also we have another portion of the webbing that goes to here. And it tells me on that is 0.1 typical. Where does it say that? I'm looking at the drawing. I know that's what it is. Oh, it says it here in the middle. 0.1 typical for this. And again, typical is saying everyone that looks like that is 0.1. So it is actually this web, this one, and this one. So let's just start with that offset of 0.1. That offset there, there, and there. Those three positions. And again, as I always say, just to lessen the confusion, I'd trim off those portions of the circles there because all we really need there is that part of the webbing that's offset. Now I'm going to offset 0.05, and from this side, and this side. This one is 0.1 wide, but it's from that center line, so I'm actually going to offset 0.05 above and below that one, and that's going to have that one done. Again, that line is going to be a layout line, so I'm going to erase it. And now, my drawing's looking just like the book, besides I have some trimming to do. And I say trimming, but really, honestly, if you look at the drawing, all these little corners are filleted. Here and here, all the way around are filleted. And I'm looking on there, yes, it says our fillet radius is 0.05. So I'm going to go fillet radius of 0.05. And I'm just going to go through and start filleting corners. So I'm going to fillet here. I'm going to fillet here. Here. There. 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 And now I'm here to fillet this part. I probably should trim out that little tiny chunk in between there and there. And now I can continue to fillet that corner. That corner. That corner. And that corner. Now with that done, this is that drawing finished in 2D. However, we are making this into a 3D drawing. So, honestly, I think the easiest way to do this is the way I always do this. There are other ways you can do it, but I think this is kind of the easiest. I would just make a copy of that entire drawing over here to the side. And one portion of this drawing, I would do everything on this drawing that is the one thickness. Now, as you look at the drawing in the book, you can see that these bushings kind of out here on the outside corners are all one thickness. You can see the center part in here, I'm calling that the web, is all one thickness. However, it does not tell you the thickness of that. Looking at those, I'm saying that this out here for the bushing, or sorry, for the web, I'm saying that's about 0.1 thick, and the bushing portions are thicker, so I'm going to go 0.15. Really don't know if that's the thickness of them on there, but we're just kind of guessing that since it does not give us that number. So what I'm going to do is, one of these copies, I'm going to say it's going to be the bushing. Let's say this one's going to be the bushings, and this copy is going to be the web. So all I have to do is we have to get this one ready to be just the bushing. So we're going to get rid of everything on this drawing except for the bushing. So we're going to get rid of that, all of this stuff. And now that one's for the bushings. On this one, we're going to get rid of everything else and leave just the web. Now here we can't just erase these out because then we're going to leave that open, so we can't do that. But instead, we're going to trim out these circles there, there, and there. Erase out those 3 extra circles. And now we're just going to use region. So we're going to go ahead and region. We just pick everything to region. So we're going to region all of those things. And then I'm going to go ahead and turn it on a conceptual view here so you can see what we've done. So once those are regioned, we're going to go ahead and extrude these 3 objects. As I said before, we're going to extrude at 0.15. All of this stuff, we're going to extrude at 0.1. And now everything's extruded and ready to be done. But now again, as I've said all the time, I want to make these things look pretty. So I'm going to pick these 3 large circular bushings, and I'm going to change those to a color. Oh, I'm going to just do yellow, I think. And now the 3 inside smaller circles, I'm going to change those to a different color. You do not have to change the colors I'm painting to. You can be as creative as you want. Change those to red. Here I'm going to change that outside portion to red there. And I'm going to change these 2 inside portions to yellow on this. So now I'm going to use subtract. On this I'm going to subtract from the 3 large bushings. Sorry, bushing bearings, whatever, yeah, bushing bearings. I'm going to subtract from those 3, and I'm going to subtract out the other 3 objects. I think, let me just do it this way, let's see. Yeah, look at that. So there, what I did, I'll do that one more time for you guys. I went subtract, did the 3 large cylinders that are out there, or circles, and I subtracted all the other things from it, which those other 3 red objects are the ones I haven't selected before, so I can do that. And it just selects those and subtracts them out nicely. And notice I have little yellow cylinders with the red holes. Now I'm ready for this other part. I can do this in a 3D view also. I'll select the outside of the webbing there, the inner, and I'm going to select the inside to subtract from it. And there it's done. So again, I have a nice red web with yellow subtractions out of it. So now all I have to do is move everything into place. So I'm going to go move. I'm going to move from the center point there, that top surface. And I'm going to move it to the center point of that top surface right there. And now these things are together, and it looks pretty good. The only real problem that we're having with this is this portion of it, it's not centered. If you look at the book, it is centered in there. So we need to get it centered. The easiest way to do that, I think, is to go to the side view of it. So we just put that in the right side view. So I want to look at the edge of this. So I think that actually be our front view. Let's see. Yes, our front view there does that. And I want to move the center web straight in that direction. Make sure your pullers on. And remember, this portion was 0.15 thick. My web in the center was 0.1 thick. So I'm going to move it over. My extra is 0.05. I need to move it over half of that, so I'm going to move it over 0.025. Straight to the side. That has it centered up there nicely. And then I'm just going to union this whole thing together. And if I look at this thing is all one object, all union together nicely. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the top view. And then my normal isometric should spin it around and make it look just like what it does there in the book. And this one's done. That's problem 36. You can save this as problem 36 in your practice folder, and then you can do a image of it. We'll upload this probably later, and I'll tell you when to upload this, but go ahead and save that as problem 36. Alright here, so the next one. The next one I want you to do, and you're going to be doing this on your own, and I won't be here. Well, actually, I might be here. We'll see how far you get on Monday. It is problem 105 on page 727 in your Flying AutoCAD book. This is what it looks like when it's drawn, and you'll see that there in the book also. So this is what it looks like. Now, there is one little discrepancy in the book. They have this hexagon out here in the middle, measured from there to there, and they have that measured just as it reads on my book as 0.75 inches. Okay? Or just as it does here on the computer. They have this circle dimensioned at a diameter of 1 inch, and that's what I have it drawn as. But if you notice in the book, this 0.75 dimension, it's actually the same size as this circle. And that just doesn't work. It can't be like that. So all I'm saying is there's a mistake in the book. It's drawn incorrectly, but the dimensions are fine. So all you need to do is you need to use the dimensions they give you in the book, which is making this polygon 0.75 inches across and making this circle a diameter of 1. Just because it doesn't line up to the same size here, that's fine. Just follow the dimensions in the book, and everything else is pretty standard with drawing. That's drawings like you've done before. Okay. Now, just a couple little tidbits here. So, first off, when you start drawing it, this is probably something like what it's going to look like. You don't have to do it exactly this way. As you know, everything in AutoCAD you can do so many different ways. You could do one of these sections and then array it around, whatever you'd like to, but I did it like this and then arrayed it around. Or then just drew each one individually, I should say. After that, again, as I say, I always like to lessen the confusion. So this is what I end up with here, is I got rid of all those center lines. So now I'm just ready to go in here and start filleting things. So we're going to start here by coming in and filleting this corner from here to there. Now, when you go to fillet this one, it does something kind of weird. And the reason it does something kind of weird and chops it apart like that is it's still recognizing this polygon as one object. Well, we don't want that polygon to be one object, so we do want to break that apart. So you want to explode that polygon. So I'm going to go X to explode it, and explode that polygon. Now when I come here to fillet it, it actually recognizes these as separate lines. So now I can fillet the corner there, the corner there, and I can fillet these things all the way around quickly, as you see I'm doing here, and filleting all those corners, and that works pretty nice. Okay? Then, moving on, I'm going to come up here to the top, and I'm going to fillet from here to here. Now, when you go to fillet there to there, it gives you a little error there. It can't fillet it. Well, the reason why it can't fillet it is, if you don't remember, you probably, like I did, arrayed these around. And since those are arrayed around, that is one object. You can't fillet an array. So once again, you have to use explode, and explode those circles apart, and now you will be able to fillet them. Now, depending on how you did this drawing, you possibly could have arrayed these lines in there also. If you did array those lines also, you'd have to explode those apart before you fillet those. And remember, remember explode is X. So now you can just go back in here and start filleting again, and continue to fillet all these many, many, many fillets that are out on this drawing. There's a bunch of them. And there is kind of one section of this thing done. And you just keep going around and filleting them all. Once they're all filleted, it would look much like this one. And then once you get to this point, you're going to use the exact same steps you did in the last drawing. You're going to do one extrusion, that is all these bushings around the outside portion, and then one extrusion, that is the web. Now once again, on the book here, they don't give you any measurements for what those are. So what I'm going to tell you is, or how thick it is I should say, what I'm going to tell you is I want the web out here in the center to be 0.2 inches thick, and then let's make the bushings 0.5 inches thick. And once again, looking at the book, you can see that those are centered up there, and that's kind of the way those are done. So again, you're going to do this, save it as problem 105 in your activity folder, and again, we'll upload that later. All right, good luck.